Hey guys, it's Britt and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. We are getting back to making weekly videos, so you can check us out on Sundays and on Thursdays for a new whole food plant-based sos-free recipe moving forward. I'm so excited to be back. Today I have a really excited 3 recipes for you guys, and this is all about mustard. So I'm a big mustard fan. I love all the different types of mustard, and these are our top 3 flavors that I thought I'd share with you guys. Again, they're sos-free. They're so easy to make. You guys will be amazed at how easy it's to whip together. And you actually don't really even need any gadgets. The only thing that you need is something to grind your mustard seeds. So that can be a high-speed blender or even a coffee grinder. And that's it. Everything else is mixed up in a bowl. All right, so let's jump into it. So we have 3 flavors. I have a stone ground mustard, a yellow mustard, and a Dijon to share with you guys today. These need to sit in the refrigerator once we set up for around 24 hours, just so they kind of mellow in flavors. If you taste it right away, it can be a little bit bitter, but as it sits and all the flavors mix in, it mellows out, so just keep that in mind. Another thing I wanted to share with you guys is the temperature of your water matters. The colder your water is for any of these, the more spicy your mustard will be. The warmer your water is, the more mild. So keep that in mind. That's a personal preference. Let's jump into it. So I do have some brown mustard seeds and some yellow mustard seeds here, and I actually found them at our co-op in the spice bulk bin. They're just little seeds. And you can find them online too. I'll link some online. There's some yellow, there's some red, and they're really easy to break up and to make into different mustard seed powder. So just to show you, here is some yellow mustard seed powder that I just pulsed until the coarseness that I want in my Vitamix. You just want to make sure the seeds are covering your blade, and then again, you can make them fine, or this one's a little bit more coarse for our stone ground, but it's totally up to you. We love doing this. Again, we have our Vitamix to do it in, but you can use like a coffee grinder, or even you can do it by hand. There's tons of different options to grind it down to finer powder. So that's what we're gonna do. I do recommend doing this fresh. If you buy mustard seed powder, sometimes the flavors are a little bit more mellow. So if you can buy fresh, you can do this perfectly, really easy. All right, so let's mix our stone ground mustard first. I also have some containers off to the side that I'm gonna store our mustard in once they're mixed up. These also will thicken a little bit more in the fridge, and I'll talk about how you can tweak things once they mellow in flavor. But I have 3 of these guys with lids set aside. And then I just have a bowl that we're gonna dump everything in. Now, all of the amounts are down below in the show notes and on our website with a free printable PDF. So you don't have to take notes, you can follow along and watch, but you can head over there and print off your recipe for you. I make it super easy. So I have half a cup of red mustard seed that I've made coarse. Now this means that there's some that's a powder, some that are still a little bit more in their shell. All of them are pretty cracked, but it's definitely not a fine powder. And I like this for stone ground to be a little bit more coarse. So this is just red mustard seed powder. You pulse it, but you just want to watch it so that you don't make it into dust. This is the exact same thing. One's finer, one's more coarse. So keep that in mind. There's nothing wrong with making it fine, but to be our classic stone ground, we like it on the coarse side. So half a cup. I have half a cup of water, and remember, it matters if your water is warm or cold for how spicy it is. I like it to be warmer. I don't like it to be super, super spicy. I like it to be just the right amount. So again, that matters to what you want. So some warm water is my choice. Half a cup. It's 1 to 1, really easy to remember. I'm gonna mix that together. And remember, again, this will thicken as it sits. So if it's on the watery side, it'll be nice and thick when you go to grab it tomorrow and the next day and so on after. All right, so that's mixed up. Then I have 1 tablespoon of white miso paste. This is our salt substitute. This will also help everything really stay good long-term in your fridge because it's a fermented food. So this actually can last a couple months in your refrigerator versus something that you might have to throw out in a week. As long as it's covered properly and stored in the refrigerator, it lasts a really long time. So I'm just gonna take a moment and really incorporate that. You can just use your spatula or a spoon to really break it up. We just don't really want any chunks of miso in our mustard, but luckily it breaks up really easily. All right, so that's all mixed in now. I also have 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar that I'm gonna add in. And I have 2 teaspoons of date sugar. Okay, now make sure it's date sugar. Date paste won't work for this. So it needs to be a granulated sugar one. There's lots on the market that you can find. It's just dehydrated dates made into a sugar, made into a fine powder. So it's still refined free. And that really helps to cut how acidic your mustard can kind of be and how strong. We still want it to be enjoyable, as much as I love a really pungent mustard. All right, and that's it for the stone ground. It turns out to be beautiful. You actually can see the pieces of mustard in there. And again, this will thicken up really nice. It won't be as watery as it sits. If you notice your mustard gets too thick, you can always add a tiny bit of water to thin it out to your preferred preference, but this is perfect for us. We really love this consistency after it sets for 24 hours. So now all I do is take a clean little jar and I just carefully go ahead and add it. And again, this will get added to our refrigerator, sealed, and it'll be nice and thick for when we want to have stone ground mustard. Now you can always double or triple the amounts of any of these mustards. I like to do kind of a little bit of each, so that way we always have a mustard we can pick from, but it's not like a ton sitting in our fridge that we never get around to using. This is the perfect amount. It'll last a while here in our house. Okay, so this is stone ground, and I just grab a little lid. I'll find a different one. A little lid for it. And again, pop it in the fridge. In 24 hours, you're ready to enjoy. Okay, let's move to the next one. So up next is our yellow mustard, and you can rinse out your bowl, but we're just gonna add everything in anyway, it's okay. This is half a cup of yellow mustard powder, ground very fine. So you can see it's a lot finer than the last one we just did. You can add that in, half a cup. It's half a cup of water. Again, I'm using kind of warmer water, so it's not as spicy for me, but you can have cold and make it super spicy for you. And let's mix that just like we did the last one. Really easy. It mixes up really well. And then it's very similar. It's 1 tablespoon of miso paste again. We're gonna mix that up just like we did the last one. Just takes an extra minute to kind of break up that miso, really get it incorporated. Just takes a second. See how easy it is to make mustard at home? You literally just need 24 hours in advance, and it only takes a couple seconds. We haven't bought store-bought mustard in some time because we just love doing it this way. And it always, I feel like, tastes always better when it's homemade. All right, that's all mixed in now. All right, up next we have 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar again. We can add that. And then I have 2 teaspoons of date sugar, so that's, we're pretty much 1 for 1. But to make it a little bit different, we have some turmeric and some black pepper that we're gonna add. Now the amount of this will vary. You can add anywhere from 1/8 of a teaspoon to 1/4 of a teaspoon, depending on how much you like this spice. But it does add that yellow flavoring and yellow coloring and a little bit of flavor to your yellow mustard that we like. All right, make sure that date paste is, or date sugar, I'm sorry, really is mixed in. Don't use date sugar, or I'm sorry, don't use date paste. I'm getting all confused on my dates now. Use date sugar, not date paste. And you have your yellow mustard ready to go. Again, check out down below for all the amounts exactly that should be in here. Okay, really easy. And you can see how yellow this turned out. Again, it'll thicken up even more as it sits. but really an easy way to make yellow mustard. All right, we're gonna move on to the third one. So you guys can see the yellow mustard ready to go. I'm gonna put another lid on that one. Ready to go into the fridge. And then for our last one, we're gonna make some Dijon mustard. So this is a combination of red mustard seeds and yellow mustard seeds. So it's 1-to-1, 1/4 cup of red mustard seeds made to a powder. So a lot finer than that first one we did. And 1/4 cup of yellow mustard seed, again, made to a fine powder. Similar to the mustard powder you buy in the store. All right, mix that up. And then I have 1/2 cup of warm water. Again, you can make it with cold water and it'll be a spicier mustard. Personal preference. Go ahead and stir that up. Really make sure it's all combined. And then over here, we have a difference in vinegar. So we used apple cider vinegar in the first two. We're using distilled white vinegar for our Dijon. So this is 1 tablespoon of distilled white vinegar that goes in. Different vinegars have different flavor profiles. So try it with this. All right, and then I have 1 tablespoon of white miso paste, just like we did last time. Again, break up that miso paste so that it's well combined. And then we have 2 teaspoons of that date sugar, not date paste. And then I also have 1 teaspoon of onion powder, which is optional, but I think it just makes it a little bit more delicious. And I love, makes it more like Dijon mustard that you would classically get. So the date sugar goes in, and then the onion powder. And that is it. We're gonna make sure all of that really gets combined till you can't see any lumps or anything is all mixed up. All right, delicious. So I have my third one. Third and final. And I do like to label the Dijon. Sometimes the Dijon and the stone ground can kind of get similar in color because we both used red mustard seeds. So labeling it is always a good idea if you're gonna try a bunch of different flavors. But you generally can just take a little spoon and taste it and know the difference. If you're a mustard lover like I am. All right, and we have our 3 mustards ready to go. Took no time at all. The hardest part is grinding the mustard seeds, which isn't hard. You have 3 beautiful mustards. Again, make sure you check out down below so you don't miss any of the amounts. And if you do make our mustard, make sure you leave us a comment. We'd love to know how you love it. We love to do horseradish mustard or even a sweet mustard. And that sweet mustard we use date paste with. And I can do a video on that too if you guys would like. Just let us know down below. So make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment, and let these guys sit in your refrigerator for 24 hours so they can mellow in flavor and calm down a little bit. And you guys are gonna love it. So easy to make SOS-free mustard. You're never gonna wanna have to go searching for a brand that's salt, oil, and sugar-free again. All right, I will see you guys on Thursday. Remember, we're back Thursdays and Sundays now, and I'm really happy you're here. See you next time. Bye.